Good morning, students. In last video, we was discussed about what is stock allocation of space. In this, already we discussed what is meant by activation trees and what is meant by activation record. So in this video, we can discuss about whatever the calling sequences and how variable length data can be allocated on the stack. So these are the concepts related to the stack allocation of space. So in this, first of all, we discuss about calling sequences. So here actually calling sequences means, so whenever we are calling one or more procedures or one or more functions, those multiple functions are those nested functions or nested procedures, how can be allocated memory at the time of compilation and at the time of execution time. So that concept is known as calling sequences. Such type of information can be discussed in calling sequences. So now we discuss some more details about calling sequences. So here procedure calls are implemented by what are known as calling sequences. That means whenever we are implementing the procedure calls at that time, so how such code or that particular programming language code can be allocates an activation record on the stack, and how those activation record related fields can be filled into or provided in the such stack. So that process is known as the calling sequences. So in this process, so here the compiler is responsible for, based on the source programming language or source code, whatever the procedure calls are required to allocating the memory, and then how that particular memory can be allocated to the such procedures. After allocating such memory allocations on stack, how written values can be stored or how written values can be written into the calling function or calling function. And then whenever allocating the stack memory allocation, each and every activation record or each and every record, how can fill such information based on the calling function and calling function. So that means, for example, consider there are two functions, function p and function q. So whenever initially invoke the function p or procedure p, so then that particular function can be allocated on stack memory. First of all, it creates one activation record for procedure p. So after completion of creating the activation record for procedure p, so in case that particular procedure can have one more sub function q. So here q is the sub function of the procedure p. So at that time, whenever procedure p was invoking the their sub function q, so now procedure q can be executes the task first and then return some value to the procedure p. So after that, procedure p was completing their execution and then return some value to the their calling function. So in this manner, so while we want to discuss about how procedure calls or procedure sequences are arranged in the stack memory locations, we divide such stack memory into two parts. Those are caller and calling. So now we observe how to divide such memory into two parts or two subdivisions. Those are calling and caller. So here, for example, first procedure p. So here procedure p or function p is caller. So that means which calls some other function. So then whenever that procedure was invoked or that procedure was started, immediately that procedure related memory can be allocated in stack memory. So that is it, that contains these three fields. Those are whatever the parameters was used by that particular procedure, and whatever the values can be written by that particular procedure p. So such information can be stored in this field. And next, control link. So that means whenever that procedure was depending on any other sub function or any other procedure, so such information can be, whatever the information written by the sub procedure, such information can be stored into this control link. So that means whatever the links was used to getting such information from several procedures, such links are saved. System status can be available at here. And next, whatever the several temporary data or local data was used by the that particular procedures to complete their process or their functionality. So these are the fields related to the each and every procedure. So here what is the responsibility of the caller function and what is the responsibility of the callee function means. So here whenever invokes or whenever starts any procedure, so as a caller, that means which was calls some other function or some other procedure, then so it contains the focusing or scope of these three fields. Those are control links, temporaries and local data, parameters and return values. So that means here once for example consider p and q, two functions. So once p function was invokes the subfunction q at that time, so wherever that particular function was processing and their information can be available, such links was stored at these control links, and then based on such information how procedure p can processing their information or their data, so such information is available here, and then whatever the several values written by their callee function q, so such information is available at here. So these are the responsibility of the caller function and these are the responsibility of the callee function. So this is the process of dividing the stack allocation of space into callee function and caller function. So next, how we can allocate the variable length on stack. So that means so whenever we are executing or whenever we are compiling the any program at that time, so basically compiler should not know whatever the exact memory can be required by the objects, whatever the objects was used on that particular procedure or whatever the objects used on that particular source program. So exactly it should not able to calculate exactly how much amount of memory can be required. For example, consider arrays. At that time it cannot able to exactly calculate how much amount of memory can be required exactly. So at that time how it can able to handle to allocating the variable length of data on stack. Now we discuss such strategy. So here to handling such type of problems or such type of difficulties, so it uses some common strategy allocating the variable length arrays. So that means you should not allocating the any fixed length arrays. So at the time of compilation it allocates some variable length arrays, and at the time of execution which uses those variable length arrays and then complete their execution or their runtime. So now we observe how it can provides the variable length memory space on stack. So for example here whenever we are invoking some record p or whenever we are calling some function or some procedure p, so that procedure having some links like which was having some references to the either a b c. So that means it was having three variables. Those three variables are array variables. So at the time of compilation it just creates some variable length or some links or some memory locations to the each and every variable. So these links or these memory locations can have only the information about where that particular array A will be stored, where that particular array B will be stored, where that particular array C will be stored. So but here these array references can be allocated at the time of execution or runtime. So that means at the time of compilation just it creates some pointers to the each and every variable, and at the time of execution it assigns the values for each and every array. So in this manner, it can allocate the variable length procedures or variable length variables can be allocated or shares the stack memory. So these are the details about how to allocate the stack memory space. So how to allocate in the stack allocation of space by using activation trees, activation records, calling sequences and variable length data on the stack. Thank you.